Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. Temperatures drop and frigid cold settles in across the region and state, gripping Montana for much of this week.
That Arctic air settling in across the area. We started the day here in Billings at -9. The thermometer not making it above zero all day. You add in that wind chill for those out walking and traveling, and it felt as cold as 24 below out there today.
Yeah, it's Q2's Bob McGuire standing by now to bring us the latest on those temperatures. Bob, we are not even the coldest area in the state.
It's amazing. Let me show you. We're going to show you some of the coldest temperatures. Our reported low temperatures this morning were, look at Jordan, 20 below zero. It was 14 below at Great Falls, 13 below zero at Glendive. Cupbank was 17 below. And as Russ said, we were 9 below zero here in the Billings area. But let me show you our current temperatures. We're still below zero. Just about everybody in eastern Montana below zero. Out in the western part of the state, at least, we're either at zero or just above zero. Let's throw in the wind chill factor right now. And in Billings, it feels like it's 18 below zero. Feels like 30 below in Lewistown. Feels like 20s below zero in the northeast. So it's a very cold morning. Look at this. We're looking at wind chill factors overnight. Going to be as cold as 35 below zero across most of the state. Look for snow in the southwestern corner of the state. Maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow up there right on through about 3 p.m. on Tuesday. We'll have more in your forecast coming up in a few more minutes.
Well, this cold also putting a tight squeeze on northwest Montana.
For the second day in a row, Whitefish Mountain Resort closed several ski lifts due to the extreme winter conditions. Now, the ski resort announced the move in a Facebook post today. Yesterday, the mountain opened only 3 lifts due to high winds and below freezing temperatures.
Now, this morning, 5 lifts were up and running, but all uphill access was closed and kids programs were canceled. But for those who did brave the cold, the mountain offered discounted lift tickets. No word yet on what will be open tomorrow.
The City of Billings landfill soon kicking off its big project to simplify and add safety to the garbage process.
A new transfer facility building is in the works. Zoe Zandora is here to tell us more about what that means. Zoe?
Thanks, Russ and Jeanelle. Yeah, they're building a transfer facility. Now, what does that mean? The facility is going to be built over a span of about 18 months. When it's done, people will be able to drive their trash to the facility, which will be close to where the scales are now. Landfill employees will then take the trash, crush and compact it, and then drive it up the hill to bury it. The Public Works Director, Dave Mumford, says it will have a lot of benefits.
It keeps everybody from driving into the landfill. It's by doing that, it's a safety issue. So much big equipment going around, people driving in and out, even the garbage trucks. It'll also reduce significantly the amount of blowing debris that occurs. A lot of the debris we get is, especially the little plastic garbage bags. When the trucks start to dump, if people don't have them in trash bags, it blows all over the place. It creates quite a mess and a lot of work for us to clean up.
Tonight at 10, I will have more information and renderings of what the facility is going to look like, how large it will be, and when it will be ready to use. Russ and Jeanelle.
All right, thanks, Zoe.
The Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation is now accepting applications for seasonal firefighting jobs across the state.
Now, the state says it needs to fill 160 positions with hourly wages ranging from $12.80 to $15.77 per hour. Those positions include firefighter, engine boss, helicopter crew member, aerial observer, fuel truck driver, initial attack dispatcher, and forest improvement technician. Now, applications will be accepted through June 1st.
However, the DNRC encourages people to apply early because the agency begins screening applications on March 1st. Applicants must be 18 years of age at the time of hiring, must have a valid driver's license. All persons performing firefighting duties are required to pass a physical fitness test within 3 weeks of being hired.
In other news tonight, a Fort Smith woman is dead after a crash on Highway 313 near St. Xavier on Sunday. Highway Patrol says the woman failed to negotiate a curve, crossed over the center line, and drove off the side of the road. She was thrown from her vehicle and died at the scene. Highway Patrol says she was not wearing a seatbelt and speed is a suspected factor.
Reports of the flu in Montana increased by nearly 500 cases in the latest numbers reported by Montana's Department of Public Health and Human Services. DPHHS reporting 488 new cases in the week ending January 26th. That puts the total number of cases for the season at just under 1,500 in 46 counties. Of those, 75 required hospitalization, 2 were fatal. Missoula, Ravalli, and Cascade counties had the most new cases. Missoula has the most cases overall. Yellowstone County has had 92 cases total, with 36 reported in the latest report period.
Well, it's a disease that's making headlines, a rare polio-like illness that affects your nervous system. And while it mostly affects young children, all 3 confirmed cases of acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, in Montana are in adults.
Q2's Samantha Sullivan introduces us to a Billings woman now fighting to take back her life.
Imagine you go to the doctor with what you believe to be a common cold. Fast forward 7 months and you're here, living in a nursing home, relearning to walk, going through intensive physical therapy for hours every day because your limbs just stopped working and doctors can't tell you why.
They say, like, God only gives you what you can handle. That's for sure. Sometimes I just feel like giving up. But I'm like, no, I can't give up. Because I want to be able to go back to my apartment, you know? Go back to my old life.
April Martin was admitted to the hospital in early August after what first seemed like a cold or the flu just continued to get worse. After a full night in the ER, April's mom, Tony, went home to get some rest. When she got back the next morning, she was horrified.
To me, it looked like she had had a stroke. Her head was laying over to the side, and she couldn't open her eyes, and her speech was slurred. With her speech slurred, she said, "What's wrong with my body?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "Don't leave me, Mom." And I said, "I'm not going to leave you." And so I didn't.
April had already been through a lot in her 32 years. She was diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 2. She beat cancer at 27. Now she was getting a tracheotomy. She was put on a ventilator and was given a feeding tube to help doctors regulate her blood sugar. But despite numerous tests, doctors were not sure what was happening to April.
Why can't they tell me what's wrong? Why can't they have a diagnosis?
A disease not seen in Montana since 2015, now believed to be back, this time in the south central part of the state.
I had not seen the news about this polio-like virus called acute flaccid myelitis.
Nationwide, health experts are keeping an eye on the polio-like illness that has left dozens sick across the nation.
Instantly when I watched that, I knew right then, that's what my daughter has. It's AFM.
AFM is a virus-fueled neurological condition. It affects the spinal cord's gray matter and can cause paralysis. But it would be 7 long months before that positive diagnosis was made.
I would show them videos. This is it. Do you see this? You got to try this. This is what we need to do. And I'm trying to educate everybody as I'm trying to learn everything too at the same time, because I want the best help for her.
Doctors are still unsure what exactly causes it. In the last year, there were just over 150 confirmed cases. The chances of getting AFM, just 1 in 1 million.
It sucks. Because you're trying to explain to them what it is, and they're like, what?
Yeah, they don't know.
What is it? It's hard.
April was eventually moved out of the hospital to advanced care and finally, at the end of October, to Aspen Meadows Nursing Home. There, she receives around-the-clock care and both physical and occupational therapy.
I would say you just started walking, what, in the last month?
Yeah.
Tony says it's been a long road, but she hopes April's story will help families in the future. In Billings, Samantha Sullivan, MTN News.
Well, Tony says the most important thing she's learned through this process is to be an advocate for your loved ones.
She says even though doctors are professionals, you know your family member best, and you know best when something isn't right.
Coming up on tonight's 5:30 News, preschool may be as easy as 1, 2, 3, but passing legislation to expand it takes a bit more work. We'll look at upcoming bills next.
And later in sports, wrestling's biggest week of the season is here. Scott checks in with Seniors Guys tonight.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.